Okay, well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We're in the Hawaii version of Pets today, so we appreciate you guys joining in from whatever time zone you're at. We're on Hawaii time, which means it's about 9 a.m. We're just downing that last cup of coffee and we're ready to go. So today is going to be 3 quick hours. It's the condensed version on high speed of Pets. So we're going to get 2.5 days done in 3 hours. So you can imagine how fast we're going to go. So without further ado, let me turn it over to our district governor-elect, Mr. Randy Hart. Go ahead, Randy.
Aloha, good morning, everybody. As Vincent mentioned, a whole lot to get through today, so I'll be pretty quick on my comments. Just want to welcome everybody and appreciate you taking the time to join us. Real special thanks to Vincent and Naomi for putting on this virtual Pets. And of course, everybody knows you must attend Pets before you can become president. So very, very important that they were able to do this for us. So very, very much appreciate the two of them. We'll just say that the Southwest Pets that we attended, it was District 5000's first year at Southwest Pets, and it was an awesome Pets. I don't know if a lot of it had to do with us finally getting together for Pets, or it was the content. I think it was a combination, personally, of both. That it was just an absolutely excellent event. The keynote speakers were, every one of them was spot on. The one from District 5000, Hank Rogers, his message coincides with what my message will be for the year, and the focus on the environment. And I have to say, with Jennifer Jones as our president for next year, we couldn't be more fortunate. She's such a wonderful person, known her for a few years, and they absolutely chose the right person to be president of Rotary. And hopefully everybody got a chance to view all the keynote speakers. If you didn't, I would highly encourage you to go back and take a look at those videos, because like I said, every one of them was excellent. And Jennifer was just the icing on the cake altogether with her talk on Sunday morning. Hard to get up on Sunday morning, and it's in the past Pets, it's been very challenging to get people to attend Sunday morning, especially after they hang out in the hospitality room, maybe a little bit too late on Saturday night. But the place was packed for Jennifer on Sunday morning. And everybody that attended, it was well worth their time, even if they lost a little bit of sleep in order to get up in time to be there for her presentation. And one of the things that I'll close with, that I've heard Jennifer say it a few years ago, as you move into your president's years, and she was very pointed in her statement that to not water the weeds. I think probably everybody knows what I'm talking about. And where she was coming from is your time is very, very precious as president, and you get pulled in 50 different directions. So don't bother with watering the weeds that are just time bandits. You got too much important stuff to do for the year. So just kind of watch out for those time bandits, and like she said, don't water the weeds. So I'll turn it back over to Vincent. Aloha, great to see everybody on this morning. We've got 29 people on, which is great. And back to you, Vincent.
Thanks, Randy. Okay, so I didn't introduce myself because I don't normally do that, because it's just basically our district and everybody knows who me and Naomi are. you're here Saturday, that means you're training. So I'm Benson Medina, I'm District 5000 trainer. And then next to me on your screen probably is Naomi Masuna, who's our immediate past district governor. And together we formulate the dynamic duo of training. So, so with that, Naomi, let me turn it over to you. And oh wait, we're gonna do breakouts. All right. So let's do this first. No, there's a lot of people on here. You may not know a lot of people here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually do probably 3 breakouts today. And so the first one we're gonna do right now is basically just a kind of a icebreaker. In your breakout rooms, you're only gonna have 4 or 5 people in there. So tell your Rotary story. And if you don't know what that is, it means how you got into Rotary and why you're still in Rotary. So we're gonna take about 10 minutes to do that, and then we'll come back and then Bet will get us going, okay? Good, all right, so you should see something on your screen that invites you to a room. If you don't, just stay here and we will manually put you into a room somewhere. Okay, have fun. Let's see, Sandy, I see you're on, and I will put you in a room if you want to be in a room. Otherwise, you can say your aloha to everybody when we get going. All right, everybody in a room that wants to be in a room. Some of you guys aren't joining yet.
Hey, Sandy, thank you very much for joining. You know, I hope, you know, everything is working out over there, and it's good to see you.
I wish I could have made it that weekend. My dad still isn't doing well, so I'm still here. Hopefully not too much longer.
Well, Arlene has your banner and backpack that that Randy got for you. So when you get back,
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Sandy, I'm gonna put you into a breakout room, okay?
Okay.
Okay, let's see, room 1. Put you in room 1. Okay, you should see something on your screen that puts you into a room. Let's see. Okay, and then let's see, we have Jason and Linda, which are actually both in the same room, so.
oh,
Yeah, they're, Jason, do you want to go into a room? Linda, would you like to go into a room?
I think she has 2 screens, you know. So because I
Yeah.
thought I renamed her,
Oh, we did? Okay.
so I think, but this one doesn't have. So let me put it in, and there may be some handouts. Wade did send 2 handouts, and we'll send that all to you afterwards. So want to make sure that we do have your email address. So if you did not register, you just coming in by the code, the meeting code, please give us your email address so we can follow up with you with the recording information and any PowerPoints or handouts. Okay, so hopefully we can end at noon, but this is what we're going to cover: the 4 priorities from the action plan, Vibrant Club, taking your club to the next level by Wade. And next we have leading your team. So here is your presenter. This is Bet Hall, Rotary Club of Calabasas, District 5280, retired human resource executive. She was district governor last year, and wealth of knowledge because she was an assistant governor, a district trainer, a president, and all kinds of other positions. And she's from England, longtime resident of West San Fernando Valley in California. So here's Bet.
Well, good morning. I am going to, let's try to start this. Are we all seeing the screen?
No.
Oh, hi. Okay, I'm trying to get out of it then. What happened?
Okay.
I told you it's one of those mornings for sure. So,
No worries.
You know, it's one of those days where you know something, everything. This is a huge lesson, folks, because nothing seems to go right when, and of course, I shut my presentation accidentally. So it's all right. We just, I'm praying it works. Yes, good. All right. So let's try it again here. Sorry, especially when we're in such a rush.
Okay, looks good. We're seeing your screen now, Beth.
You got it.
Yeah, we got it. Looks good.
Thank goodness. All right. See, that's a good example of keep calm and carry on, right? As a Brit, one of my favorite things. So one of my biggest things is you want to be that leader who inspires your club, inspires people to work with you. So when you define, I want you to think of a successful person you've worked with. And just, I'm going to ask you to yell out some words, because going through trying to get it in the chat, you can put them in the chat or just throw out what made that person so successful. Give me some answers. Naomi, I'm sure you know some.
Well, they're caring.
Caring, that's a great word. Anybody else? Sandy, I'm seeing one.
Organized.
Organized, what a great word. Benson, what about you? Nothing coming quickly? Jacqueline.
You gotta unmute. Yeah, so.
You can call me Jackie, and I
Oh,
think that
Jackie, okay.
a good leader is, in addition to organized, that would require a plan. So they have a plan to start with.
Okay, Randy, what about you?
Goal-oriented,
Huh?
goal-oriented.
Goal-oriented, great one. Well, unfortunately, I wish I had loads of time to do this, but we're going to go and look and see. How about words like purpose, passion? They're really passionate about what they do. Authentic. You're not seeing somebody really phony. Ethical. Ethical. So important in every aspect of life, but also especially in Rotary. Sense of humor. You've got to be able to laugh at yourself too. Don't take yourself too seriously. Problem solver. You just heard that this morning. I started off my day with no access to my PowerPoint, but you ended up, I have it, it's resolved. Lead by example. To me, this is such a big one. You know, often I think of being first on site for a project, last to lead. Confidence. That's hard to show sometimes or have when you're sitting there shaking in your shoes. How can you present the confidence? To me, it's always keep calm and carry on. Commitment, positivity. I used this all through last year, and I would often refer to the kids program, Bob the Builder. Can we do it? Yes, we can. You just have to make sure you maintain the positivity, creativity, the ability to inspire others. Because if you inspire, people will come along with you. And that's one of the biggest things. Coaching, innovative. We will send you the PowerPoints. Huge one, ability to delegate, How many of you have actually worked with micromanagers? Under a micromanager? I know I have, and it's not fun. So the ability to delegate, we'll talk a little more about that. Generosity of spirit, of your time and ability. And when we talk about managing versus leading, the difference is you manage things, you lead people. You talk about people work for managers, they follow leaders, two totally different things. And why a leader rather than a manager in a volunteer situation? If you think about it, when you're managing, sorry, did somebody have an answer? I heard a voice. Okay. When you're in a job, you're being paid to do something. Volunteer is not the same situation. And a manager relies on control. A leader inspires trust. A manager asks how and why. A leader asks what and why. And I like this little diagram here because the leader said, let's go do it together, right? And the manager is go and do it. Very different. And when you come to building that team, I'm going to ask all of you, have you reviewed your bylaws? Do you know where they are? Let's see a show of hands. Literally put your hand in it. Do you know where your bylaws are? Some of you, not all. So have they been reviewed and updated? Because if you haven't looked at them in the last 5 years or even 3 years, so much has changed. And your bylaws are actually like your Bible. They should be with your meetings, especially board meetings. You may have to refer to them. They should define some of the required roles and positions. You won't have everyone in there, but they should have the required, especially the board ones. And you need to get help when you're building that team. Who do you get help from, do you think? Anybody quickly answer? This is like speed training. Sorry, as Benson said, we're speeding through it. Sorry. Well, how do you, sorry?
Your district leaders, I think.
Absolutely, district leaders. What about past presidents in your club? Other people such as long-term members who have a lot of experience. So get the help in putting it together. And why do we say build a team that doesn't need you? Why do we say that? For the same reason we talk about delegating, because the last thing you want to do is be that person micromanaging every person. The RI suggested committees are club administration, service projects, membership, and the Rotary Foundation, which is critical, and public image. So there's such a huge demand these days to keep the public image and get our image out there. So key positions, the president, which is elected, and usually at every club, the treasurer who is elected. This is such a critical position. And what we're finding is so many clubs, they have the treasurer for 30 years, 20 years, and all of the records are in Joe Schmackatelli's basement there. Nobody knows the records. You could get audited. So be very cautious with this one. And truly know your treasurer, because you could, if you put a brand new person in and you really don't know that person, we've seen treasurers and the funds disappear with that treasurer. So be extremely cautious. Secretary, you want that person that Cliff Doctorman always described as. I hear the club secretary does everything. You do not want the one at the end of the year where he's saying, I wonder just what that club secretary does do. You want somebody very organized, able to handle many things, plus keep up with the board records, etc. And committee chairs, especially the PR and branding. Other ones are vocational, international youth, the new one, environment and fundraising, and others as you see fit that fit your club. When you're selecting your team, don't do it alone. And also, if you've asked somebody, again, the CPA, you want them to be the treasurer. They may not want to do this and may want something completely different. So talk to them, perform one-on-one interviews. And what you look for, you do look for experience, energy, diversity. And that doesn't just mean ethnicity, diversity, age, career basis, a lot of different items. Trying to do succession planning. We've had a lot of clubs in my own district this year, had a real struggle to get club presidents. But if you start trying to train somebody, put them in the succession, if you have a VP position, pop them in there, or a position where they're really going to learn. Look at future potential, continuity. And how do you deal with this one? This is one of the worst and can really create problems. But that's my job. I've always done it. With that one, you are going to tread very, very carefully. But get a co-chair in there. Try to find another position that the person may do very well. This is one of the hardest, and I wish we had time to discuss it, but it's something to think about and consider. With team building, have a retreat, go off site, do something where you all get together, have job descriptions so people understand the roles, encourage open exchange, and ensure the respect, have little tolerance for gossip or those types of behavior. Try to do some icebreakers, get to know each other. The goal setting is critical. I got asked if I take membership this year, and I said, okay, kind of, I got a lot going on, but I'll do it. And then my club president, who's a great friend of mine, said, oh, by the way, I put a goal of 12 new members. She didn't have discussion, and she knows I'm sharing this, so there was no discussion. You need to work with people so they know what their goals are. And when you do your goals, smart goals, specific, measurable, realistic. Don't say you're going to have double your membership in a year without looking at, is it realistic? So work on it. Timely and smarter goals, which are ethical in Rotary, major thing. And then you pull them out, you review to see if you need to adjust them throughout the year. So And what you need to avoid, resistance to change. How many? I would imagine pretty much every club here has that member. Oh, we've always done it this way. And you need to change. We've evolved, we've changed so much. The lack of commitment to goals, the people doing their way, regardless. And then also delegating. You're never a one-man band out there. And once you've delegated, are you done? Absolutely not. Because you really do. The buck stops with you. You're the leader. So you need to check in, follow up with people, follow through. If the project isn't getting done, how do you handle that? You ask why, you ask the questions and go to it. I always use this photo because it's delegate, but do not abdicate. You're not going to walk away. So I've heard presidents or governors say, oh, that's their problem. That's their job. No, it stays with you. Do periodic reviews, your team review. My club does quarterly reviews with all of the chairs of everything, the leaders. Review the goals, adjust them, change them, reinforce your objectives, be flexible and adaptable. What did last year teach us? Last Rotary year and this one too, that we need to be able to be flexible and also to adjust. Be prepared, prepare, plan, practice. Be respectful. First one to arrive, last one to leave. Be aware of meeting hoggers, time wasters. Lead your team's tips just really quickly as we go through, because I am over my time by a few seconds. Just plan, plan, plan. And never forget, you are leading volunteers. Always, always, always say thank you. Have fun along the way. Don't take yourself too seriously. And recognition is the most critical thing you can do. Recognize those members. They don't receive a paycheck. It can be as simple as just standing there saying thank you. And celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. I don't think Hawaii has a problem celebrating at all. They brought so much celebration to pets, but do this. Make sure you celebrate. And I want to say thank you for your time. I wish we had longer, we could interact. We don't. You have a long day, but thank you, thank you, thank you for all of your attention.
Yay. Thank you. That's great. Boy, that was a great presentation. Maybe you could make that available to us. I'm sure
I will.
there's a lot of people on the screen that would love to have that presentation. But Beth, thanks a lot. That was super great. Okay.
It was very fast. Sorry.
Yeah, well, that's okay. I mean, fast. It was good. It's effective, right? Sometimes it's faster. I mean, you clip through it, and people have to grasp it. So, worked out great. Excellent. Okay, speaking of fast, in about 15 minutes, I'm going to go through Vibrant Club's Rotary's action plan, and then increasing your impact. And we're going to do that probably in about 15 or 20 minutes. So. Recommend you get your seatbelt on, and we'll rock and roll here. So let me bring this screen up here. Let's start with Vibrant Clubs. Okay, here we go. Okay, now this this presentation has a narration, but in the effort of trying to reduce some time, I'm just going to kind of walk you through it, right? Okay, so Vibrant Clubs, anybody hear that term before?
Yes.
Okay, well, if you haven't heard it, you're going to hear it today. and we're going to talk a little bit about the leadership plan within your club. Okay, so a vibrant club is a club that basically engages members. It conducts meaningful projects. It tries new ideas. It basically is a club that gives everybody a good value proposition, meaning, if you're a Rotarian and you're wondering, what am I here for? A vibrant club addresses that and gives people a sense of meaning and purpose for being involved in Rotary. Okay, it's a it's a club that has a lot of diversity and a lot of activity within the club. So if you're a club that has a lot of activity going within your club, then you have the makings of being a good, vibrant club. A vibrant club is one that that has best practice. It makes long-range plans. It looks at the club beyond just a single year. As the incoming president, you might be focused really on, what kinds of things we're going to do this year, what's going to be my agenda, what's going to be our service projects we're going to do. But a vibrant club looks beyond that. It has a succession line. It starts thinking about projects that might take several years to do. It develops annual goals, and Randy's a very goal driven person. So in our district, we're very big on goals, and goals are basically, as some of you might have heard that definition, it's a dream with a deadline. Okay, so goal oriented. Vibrant clubs basically are engaged in doing the best possible types of meetings that they can. So their meetings are engaging, they're efficient, they're well planned. They think their meetings out. I know some of us are in clubs where, you have your meeting and your speakers all lined up, 6 months ahead. And there are some that, figuring out the day before the meeting who's going to be speaking. So we want to try to be engaging, and to be engaging, it's preparation is probably the best thing. They communicate with each other. And this is a key point, right? Because a lot of the information comes down from your district governor, then it comes down to your assistant governors, and it goes to the club presidents. But what we find in clubs that are really vibrant is that they've developed ways in which that information filters all the way down to every single person in the club, whether it's it's a newsletter, it's committees, it's group work. They have a way to get communication down to everybody in the club, and that's a key piece. They're trying to maintain continuity of leadership. I know in our club, we try to maintain like a 5-year leadership line, so try to line people up. So continuity is the key thing in our leadership, and what we try to do here in our district, and hopefully you guys are doing that in your districts as well. And that is if you have continuity in leadership, then you don't start all over from the beginning. Every July 1, there's sort of a plan that can go beyond just 1 year. A vibrant club understands the bylaws, and Bet was talking about the bylaws. And so every club has sort of this template of bylaws that you have the ability to adjust to your needs. I know when I was the president-elect, our current president decided that we had not changed our bylaws in 20 years, and this was going to be the year we're going to change them. And so she assigned me the chore or the task to rewrite our club bylaws. So I got to know our bylaws really well. So that's important, because the bylaws are basically your operating procedures that you're going to be moving along on. Relationships within the club. I know our Randy believes that people join Rotary because they want to do networking, they want to do good things for the community. Typically, that's why people join Rotary. But they stay in Rotary because they've developed relationships that last, that are cemented, and a lot of commonalities. So developing relationships or having the time to develop relationships within the club, key thing, very important. They try to, a Vibrant Club tries to match members' activities to whatever their interests are. And it's really important not to mistake what their occupation is for their interest, because some people have an occupation that they're not interested in. Like, for example, we had a CPA come into our Rotary Club, and of course, within the week, we were already asking her to be treasurer, and of course, she hated that work. She wanted to work with kids, so you need to take the time to find out what your members are actually interested in, and then match them up with that. But it's not always their occupation. So coaching members to lead, and Beth brought that up in her presentation about, you know, helping to coach people along, and it's usually club trainer or past president, somebody that already has had the leadership role that can put that out to your club members. And then it's creative, getting committees that are effective, and getting people together who are motivated, who understand that you know, these core groups, these little groups within the club actually make the club work. So there's administration, membership, public relations, Rotary Foundation, and service. That's some of the committees that you can do. And then the clubs around the world, you know, have turned challenges that they've had into successes to become really vibrant. Like here, you guys might remember that in 2018, we had lava just coming out of the ground over here, really upset a lot of the clubs that are on the island that I'm on, the Big Island. But that event, although it was kind of a disaster, helped us to kind of galvanize what we were doing as far as working together as a group. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there, and now we're gonna shift and talk about Rotary's action plan. So that's the next thing. So let's start right here. Okay. So this is Rotary's action plan. So about the middle of last decade, Rotary began to take an inward look at itself and try to figure out, okay, are we going in the right direction? They saw, you know, declining membership mostly in North America, but around the world, it was moving pretty well. So they went out, started talking to the members, surveying people that are out there, and saying, okay, well, where do we need to go as Rotarians? What do we need to do? And so they came back with a new vision, and this was basically their vision statement. And it was, together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. All right, so the key pieces, right, is that they want to do something together, that united, we always do really well as a group. All right, we want to take action for sure, right? Because action speaks louder than words, right? And we want to create lasting change, not just change that can, you know, happen for a few days or a few weeks or even a year, but lasting change that not only happens across the world, but for sure in our communities, and most important, within ourselves. Here, when we talk about Rotary as something that we feel. And so, you know, we can get more into that later. So as part of this new vision, they came out with 4 strategic priorities. And those priorities came from basically things that Rotarians gave us feedback on, right? So the first one was impact, okay, was to increase our impact. And that basically came from polio. Okay, so when we took on polio in 1984 as a global project, we were able to basically wipe polio off the face of the map. That was a huge impact. So when they say impact, what they're meaning is that when we go out to do the work that Rotary does and whatever we do, that there's an impact on the community, that something happens there that affects the lives of where people are. where they live and what they're doing. So impact came really from polio when you start thinking about, well, where did impact come from? Okay, reach, expanding our reach. And expanding our reach really came from Rotary's desire to want to expand membership, right? And so what they came to the conclusion of is that, you can't grow Rotary from inside Rotary. You have to go outside Rotary and expand that reach, start putting together these, and we're going to talk about strategic alliances that are out there, beyond the people we know, people that, we see in the community that are leaders. We have to expand the reach out. And that priority came from our desire to expand membership. And then engagement, and that that priority was about enhancing participant engagement, and that really comes from clubs, right? So inside clubs, and if your club's like my club, that there are people that are within the club that are not that active. I mean, they pay their dues, but we don't really see them that much. So enhanced participant engagement really comes from Rotary's desire to want to get into clubs and get everybody within that club engaged, because the more people you have engaged, the more people you have to do good things for the community, and it expands, reach, impact, all of that, the more you have people engaged. And then priority 4 is about adapting, increase our ability to adapt. Now, when they came up with this, they had no idea we were going to have a global pandemic and that it was going to shut, a lot of doors that are usually open to us in Rotary for a couple of years. But we have really been able to put that to test the last couple of years, going to Zoom meetings, hybrid meetings, doing different types of fundraisers, doing community service that doesn't require us to work as a group. Even Beth this morning working to try to get her presentation going. Whenever we have that, I always say, all right, gang, here we are at ability to adapt. So that is what the four priorities are about, and that's basically going to be the basis of what we're going to talk about today. And so into that, I'm going to now we're going to go right into, somebody had a question. Is there somebody raised their hand? Oh, okay. Sandy, you had a question? Or, you're just giving me the thumbs up. All right, thumbs up I can take, I like that. Okay, so let's talk about increasing impact, which is kind of our next thing. And how's this, is that fast enough for you guys? Okay. All right. So remember that we talked about impact as that came from basically what polio is, and impact really means that as we get out into the community, the things that we do out there affect the people that are working with us. So the definition and meaning of increasing our impact. Anybody want to offer an idea or your idea of what increasing impact might mean? Bet, I'll call on you because you called on me. So how's that? Any idea about increasing impact?
When you're increasing your impact, to me, one thing our club has done this year has really created an alliance with our city council, and we are out there in the community every single event. So we are definitely increasing our impact that way on Calabasas, which is, most people do know the Calabasas name, but there's a lot of other people in Calabasas other than the Kardashians, and we certainly want to give a different image of.
That's a great one. Okay, Beth, thanks a lot. So yeah, one way in which you can increase impact is get strategic alliances out there that can do that. Community needs assessment. So I know a lot of clubs go out there, survey their community. What does our community need? What are some of the projects that the community would like to have? And so community needs assessment is essential if if you're gonna do projects out there that are gonna be impactful. Now, in Hawaii, we have so many nonprofits that are out there. Actually, they're coming to us saying, hey, we have this project, can you help us? So we don't really need to go out and find a lot of projects. They end up finding us. So we end up trying to figure out which project we're actually gonna do. So here's what we're gonna do here for the next few minutes. We're gonna go into breakout rooms, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about ways in which we can increase our impact. All right, so here's some questions for you. And we're gonna, like I said, go into breakout rooms and talk about it. Okay, so what projects or events do you have planned for your year as president? And I know all of you have some now. They can be things that you already have done, or they can be things that you're imagining that you could do this year. So what are some of the projects you have planned? Okay, so how will you involve your community and members to increase your impact? How are you going to involve them, right? What kinds of things are you going to do? Like Beth's already said, well, we connected with the city council, and now we're going to start working with them on some of the projects. Okay, so that's question number 2. And then the third one is, how are you going to measure, track, and publicize your community impacts? All right, so what are the things you're going to do? How are you going to engage people to do them? And then how will you track and publicize your community impacts? Now, I know that's a lot. I'm going to send you back into breakout rooms. It'll be small again, 4 or 5 people. You'll have a chance to chat about that. When we come back from the breakout rooms, we're going to take a little break, and then we'll come back and talk about our ideas. Okay. Anybody confused? Have a question? Okay, good. I like you guys. You guys are sharp. You're on it. All right. So you're gonna get a breakout room invitation. So so if you're not assigned to one, and you can just sort of sit here, and then I will physically put you into one, and we'll see you back here in about 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, Lawrence, I'm going to put you into a room, right? You want to go to a room, right? I mean, you appear to be the kind of person that would love to go to a room. So I'm going to put you, Lawrence, into room 3. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I was about a break room.
Yeah, break room. Okay, I'll put you into the break room. Okay, so where's Andreas? Andreas, you ready to go to a room? Go to your room? Yeah, okay, so let me see. I'll put you in group 4, Andreas. Group 4. Assign you to group. Hey, how you doing? Good. All right. And then let's see. Who else would like to go to a room? Jason. Jason, would you like to go to a room? No? Linda? Oh, Jason already went. Linda, I think you're already in a room, right? Okay, cool. Oh, let me stop the recording. Pause. All right. Jackie, because on my screen you are sitting right next to me, why don't you share a little bit about what happened in your group, what the conversation was about in your group. You actually were in group 1. So yeah, go ahead. You can just unmute. We're gonna just talk for a few minutes about what came out of your group. Oh, you're muted. I'm sorry. We got to get a t-shirt, right, that says you're on mute. And have Rotary on it, and then we could probably make a lot of money. Yeah, go for it, Jackie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think the thing that most of us were thinking about was anything to do with increasing membership. And one of the ideas that came up was that when they do the dictionary and they're out there in the community, out there with the schools, it's a good chance to invite people to come along and help pass out the dictionaries. So that was the main thing, was how we can increase the membership in our own clubs. What are the unique strategies that we might use?
Okay. Anybody else in group one? That was Jackie, Christine, Ray, Sandy, and Stefan. Anybody else want to add anything to that? Okay, good. How about Christine? Would you like to add anything to that?
Yes, I thought it was important what Sandy said, because I have older members in our club and we need to also include them and have activities for them that they feel engaged in as well, to have enough for both, all members.
Okay, good. Yeah, good ideas. Okay, so group two, that was Arlene, Ellie, Joy, Linda, and Ross. Anybody?
I'll be the sports spokesperson for them.
Great, excellent.
Okay, so a lot of them, some of them are established clubs already, so they're going to continue with the projects they have already, like Hawaii or Hanalei Bay is going to continue their Kapuna Park, Agricultural Park, and the Beach Lifesavers. The Newport Beach Club Sunrise is going to continue with their bike safety, water safety, library wagon, and their grant center. And then we have a brand new club, the Tucson Verde Club, which is eco-based, and they're doing a project with Glass Roots Project, recycling glass and the advocacy to use glass for bricks. And their other project is bird protection.
Okay, cool. Anybody else from that group? Group two want to mention anything else? All right. Okay, thanks, Arlene. Arlene's always a really good spokesman. She's one of our top District 5000 spokespeople. Okay, so room three had Lawrence, Linda, Naomi, Roy, and Sharon. So who would like to be the spokesperson for that group? Naomi?
I'll start.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't have enough time because there's so many things that the clubs are doing. But one of the common themes, we had 5 people, right? And 3 of the clubs do Oktoberfest. So,
Right.
but this is a major fundraiser for doing impactful projects. And in I forget, Tucson. So there was they do a foster children picnic, and even though it might be small, they do photos of the families, because some of the families are not together, but just that kid, someone saying, this is the most precious thing, is this photo of our family. That is the impact that we're talking about. So how do you measure that impact? So ideas about foster kids, raising money. Lawrence wants to do a Rotaract club and do leadership training. So, really thinking about how we can make an impact for the people we touch.
All right, great. Anybody else in that group? Lawrence, you want to say anything? Linda, Roy, Sharon?
Yeah, this is Roy. Yeah, I'll say just a few words. Naomi talked about the Oktoberfest. We're trying to do this for the first time this coming October. And part of our motivation is to get more community exposure to Rotary Clubs. Traditionally, their fundraiser in this club has been a banquet type event that's been fairly closed off. The whole community is invited, but it's mostly Rotary members that attend. So by doing an outdoor Oktoberfest, we hope to promote not only fundraising, but awareness and get more members that way.
Okay, good point, Roy. Lawrence, you wanna add anything to that?
Well, Naomi mentioned one of my projects. The other one would be what is this now? Blue Planet Foundation, kicking off one of the ideas of how to promote energy consumption and proper disposal of computer equipment and battery. So now that we're into this new phase of how to save our planet, I'm trying to figure out with our club how we can get the message out, and hopefully we can get our community be impactful in this what you call it, not putting computer equipment in our what you call wasteland, but more into a more recycled location.
Okay, good idea. All right, so group 4, room 4 was Andres, Della, Priscilla, Randy, and then Jay Travers. Who'd like to speak on behalf of that group? How about Della? Della, are you there? Let's see. Or Rent. Yeah, Della, I knew you were there, so go ahead. Speak on the behalf of that
Take
group.
notes. Oh,
Yeah.
my
Okay.
mic is really loud. Oh gosh. Maybe others can share their, because I took up too much time with my own projects and didn't take notes. I apologize. But what I remember was Travers is, they're was it a farmers market that they inherited from the Chamber of Commerce there, and now they're financially rich but people poor. Yeah, but for my club's personal, for Maui actually, because we're part of this Rotary Health Focus group. And we're, last year we did this, we partnered with our county. I think Betty had mentioned to partner with your local government. So we partnered with our mayor's office, and we also partner with the other agencies that provide service to the underserved community, and primarily the Pacific Islander community here, which is a large population. They're very, these folks are a close-knit family. They don't trust anyone that's outside. And so it was hard for all of these years for these government agencies to reach them. And so we were able to vaccinate 81 Pacific Islanders, which is a big number. It sounds small, but it's a pretty big number. And then this past month, we vaccinated 25 children. And so today is our second dose that's going on right now. And we also, we're continuing to plan to continue to partner with the government and the local agencies. So today now, because of our partnership with the government last year, it's great to, whenever the government, the mayor's office need help, they'll come to us first to reach this particular population. And I really wanna also ask Andres and Travers and is it Priscilla to share their projects as well. Thank you.
Okay, any of you guys want to clip in? Oop. All right. Okay, why don't we go on to room 5? That's Anna, Craig, Laura, and Wade. Anybody want to speak on behalf of their group up? Craig, how about you?
Okay, unmuted. Okay, our club, basically, there's 3 projects that we've done for a while, and I'm going to continue them because I think they're great projects. One is a Thanksgiving food project that we basically work with the city, and they give us the names of families that need help, and we put together these food boxes right the week before Thanksgiving for them to have a good Thanksgiving meal. So we work with the city club very much behind that project. Another one is, and it's coming up now, but again, it'll be for next year also, the Easter egg hunt. We work with the local schools to advertise this, and we put together plastic eggs and candy in there and go to 2 local parks. And basically the day before Easter, we conduct it with the help of the city. Third project is the 4th of July, Laverne. We're I come from is, even though it's in LA County, it's a small town. We have a small town parade, and we decorate the back of a tow truck and basically, advertise Rotary for the, so the community can see. So these are 3 projects that, I hope to do next year, and we've done for a while and have been successful. So that's what I have.
Okay, Craig, thanks a lot. So we got one more group, Beth, Jennifer, Rick, and Shelley. Anybody want to speak on your guys' behalf?
The one thing I noticed and I was very impressed with is how already all of them were reaching out to other organizations and including them in their own projects and working with so many other organizations, which already, impacts increases their impact on the communities and their own clubs, because they're getting word out through projects with the other clubs. So I was very impressed with this group. It was both environmental they were touching, it was homelessness and youth. And our youth impact has suffered probably more than anything during the COVID shutdown. That's what we've seen. So I'd like one of them to join in, or all of them, please. Rick, you were reaching out, Shelley and Jennifer, all of you.
Well, I'll just mention a couple things that our club has been reaching out with nonprofit environmental groups to work with another Rotary group in an adjacent city to establish a regenerative farming program at the Boys Republic, which is, I can't think of the proper word, but it's maybe an orphanage that has been well established in the area for many, many years. And we're working with them and the local universities, junior colleges, to establish this regenerative agricultural program, which would involve interns that would work from the universities. Our club would work with Interact students and Rotaract students in the area. So we're trying to expand Rotary both to the youth in the area to get into something that I think they find interesting, which is the environmental sustainability sphere. And we look forward to hopefully getting the Rotary name out that way.
Okay, Rick, thanks. Good summation. Okay, that's great. So we got through that first one, increasing impact, and now I'm going to turn it over to Naomi, and we're going to shift gears now and talk about participant engagement. So go ahead, Naomi. Okay,
Great discussion. So when you think about impact, it's the outward projects that you're doing. And we have a lot of participants in there. So when we talk about engage your participants, who are actually your participants? Okay, so every touch point that you have is an opportunity to engage with people. So whether it's a program, an event, a meeting, or just in passing, it opens this chance to make a connection and to show them what Rotary can do in the community and in yourself. So got to get your elevator, your 30-second elevator speech ready, right? So we're going to break out in a few minutes to share ideas on how to increase the satisfaction levels of your members. But let's first talk about why it's important to engage with people. So, members, people, they want to feel relevant. They want to feel that there is some kind of value to that Rotary connection. So, because, if there's no value, if they're not getting anything out of it, why would they want to stick around, right? So let's think exactly, who are your participants? When you have a business, you think about and you consider your employees, of course, but what about the employees' families, stockholders, board members, customers, vendors, your family, these are all people that are participants in your life or your business. So for Rotary, who would you consider is a participant? So obviously it's your members, but it's also the families of your members and all of the people they touch, because they see what they're doing. They're Rotaractors, interactors. What about families of your interactors and Rotaractors? Alumni, people who have gone through the program, anybody who participates in your project. So volunteers that are helping you with the cleanup project or an Oktoberfest, an event. These are all people that are participants and your beneficiaries to get the benefit of your fundraising. But who else would you consider is a participant? Anybody think of someone else that is a participant that you might want to consider? Did I cover it all? Okay, but when you think about who the people that you touch when you do your events, your meetings, your speaker, for instance, and friends that come in for your speaker to hear your speaker, those are all participants. So now that we've identified who the participants are, how do you enhance their engagement, their experience? How can you look at from their point of view what they're experiencing? So think about how to create a participant-focused approach to your projects and activities. And then ask your participants, your members, how do they want to engage? How do they want to get delivery of the experience? And what are the opportunities that you see from their point of view? So for instance, think about your meetings, because you're going to be running the meetings. If you were in their shoes, a person who has never been to your meeting, a prospective member, how would they see your meeting? Do they see a bunch of guys, people talking to each other and not acknowledging them? Does it look like you don't care about your banners? Just think about what they're seeing and put your feet in their shoes and walk the way that they're talking and looking. So people of action strive to understand the need of others. Rotary is a great organization because we create meaningful relationships across the decades and continents. But just like people and communities that we serve, our participants need to feel seen and heard. So let's do a breakout right now in smaller groups just for 10 minutes and share how you can enhance that satisfaction level of your members and participants. Is there something that your club can do that is that can do to make it exceptional? Or if you have exceptional ways to enhance your participants, share that with the group and let's brainstorm, come up with ideas to take your club to the next level and increase the value proposition for your participants. Okay, Benson, let's send them out to breakout rooms.
Okay, here you go. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. Okay, Naomi, you're gonna stay in the room. Oh, I guess Naomi's gonna go. Okay. All right, Wade, you're good now. Get a little peace and quiet.
Doing good there, Benson. Coming along nice.
Again, and then go for it.
You have more than one mouse, but actually I got two.
Yeah, I've got mice actually.
Mice.
Yeah, well, that's plural of.
Okay, so let's hear from the groups on what strategies your group came up with to enhance participant engagement. So let's just spend a few minutes. So who's in group number 1?
Okay, you want me to bring the names up so we can call on people? Which is always really fun. So that would be Linda Mira and Randy, Ross, Shelley. Yeah, those 4 people.
Well, as far as my Rotary Club Pantano here in Tucson, we have, unfortunately, we are a small group and it's older members. So it's tough when you get a speaker to show up and you only have 5 or 6 people showing up. It's really quite embarrassing. So what we have tried to do is make some of the meetings be where we're holding them at other some of the Rotarians' homes and make it like just a gathering, a social gathering. And also, since I'm the program chair, I spoke to a gentleman in another Rotary Club in Arizona. You know how hot it gets here in the summer. And he said, there was such low attendance. They just quit having speakers in the summer, in the dead of summer. So we haven't done that yet, but I think Zoom has helped because people can, people all leave town in the summer here. So people can still join us if we do Zoom meetings. So we have one meeting a month that's a Zoom meeting at noon, and another meeting a month would be in person at dinner time. And that's when we have speakers for both. And hopefully we'll continue to do that. We also encourage the families of the members to show up, just so we have more bodies there when we have a speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, having the family members there, that's a good thing. It's not bodies, because they're taking this in, and guess what? They're future Rotarians. But that's a good thing. Okay, room number 2.
Okay, that'd be Anna, Andres, Ellie, Ray, and Roy. Got a nice ring to that.
Yeah, hi, this is Roy speaking now. We talk about getting participation going. I talked about in our club. We got a fairly large club. I think the official member count is 130. But we had 200 at one time, like 10 years ago. And so we're trying to do things to in the community to make ourselves known. We have an outdoor hiking hiking event, pardon me. I talked about up in the hills above Escondido to a water reservoir area. And then we do those storefront window painting Halloween. We're trying to get more participants in the Rotary Club beyond just the members. We do get good speakers because we're the biggest club in Escondido. So we can get speakers like a County Board of Supervisors member, Water Authority members, CEOs of hospitals, speakers like that. So we get good speakers. I think it has helped promote the members to show up to the meetings to hear good speakers.
Yep. Anybody else from room 2? Okay, room 3.
Okay, room 3, that'll be Joy, Laura, Lawrence. Well, Linda, you were already in room 2, and then Rick Gomez.
We were talking about, I liked the whole, a lot of the members were saying reinventing, where, not just stuck like how Holland was saying, changing and not having a lunch one, having a dinner, and then also not having the meetings, all the meetings be structured. Maybe have one of the meetings is to get everything done, and the other one is just socializing to get them, to come maybe discuss, I was saying, current events in the media and news, everything, or also, events happening, sharing a birthday or just sharing how, and then bringing more of of the members, of family members, to, you know, just be more of a social event. I like that. And then we were discussing too how maybe collaborating with other Rotaries in the area and doing the Zoom, and maybe that way we can get, you know, the guest speaker more of an audience, since excuse me, we don't have the membership showing up, you know, with COVID and everything. We how we were discussing, maybe I was like, we have 12 and 5 maybe show up to our meetings. So making that a collaboration with everyone, and that way we can get the speakers, because that's how it goes, where we don't get a speaker because we don't have the members. But you know, then how do you engage the members if you don't have speakers, or if you don't have something that's gonna want to make them come and listen?
Mhm. Yeah, that's a problem. If you have a good speaker and you don't have the audience, it's a little embarrassing. But you know, one thing that you could do is have joint meetings and share speakers with someone another club that meets at the same time. Because you're on Zoom, it could be somebody in the next state, right? But also inviting. We had a meeting yesterday, and we invited the Chamber of Commerce and some other organizations to hear the speakers. So those are some of the things that you can do as well. Okay, room number 4. Volunteer?
So room 4, it's Craig, Della, Jackie, Jason, and Priscilla.
Oh, Jackie, you're muted.
Back to me. Okay, sorry about that. I said our club did a few community service projects, and we had a couple of volunteers, not many. We had a few from the military on a couple of projects, and we probably didn't do enough. There's always more you can do, but we did thank them profusely, and we had meals and so forth that we shared with them. And then one of the couple of the activities I mentioned already, where we went up and down Camp Highway through Wahiwa, and talking to the businesses that we were basically working for when we were doing those cleanups. That was part of. They weren't participants; they were more or less recipients, but we made that connection. So those are the only 2 things I have.
Thanks. And that was a great idea, you know, to go door to door to knock on your neighbors and say, hey, come join us. And then if they didn't want to, at least they got to know who you were and that you were doing, that Rotary was doing this project for the community. So that was
we didn't actually ask them to come join us, because they were in businesses and in business clothes and what have you. But we did say, here's what we're doing, and nice to meet you, and please join us in the future. Yeah.
Okay. Room 5, that's Sharon.
Okay. Well, I just took notes from what some of the people have said, you know, but take time to talk to the members you have now. And you can also find out who they know, whether it's a younger person or whether it's somebody else that they work with. When I was membership chairman of our club, I would tell everybody that you have to have at least one friend in this world that you can invite to join Rotary. You know, and some of them, it just kind of goes over their head, and some of them, you know, jump onto it. So, but, you know, we all are in different organizations, we do different things. And how many times do we think about inviting somebody to our Rotary meeting or our Rotary project? The younger people, you know, there's more of them now that are coming up through the banks and other places that are younger. And we just had a new one that joined our club that works for one of the banks. But it's just a matter of, I think, inviting people to come to your meetings, and all of ours are on Zoom right now. So it's, you know, fairly easy if somebody knows how to use that. But, and one of the other things I had mentioned earlier was, you know, if you're in-person meetings, which we haven't done for several months, you know, sit at a different table and talk to the people, you know, get familiar with them. Don't just hang out with your little clique. and talk to the new ones that are showing up, or even other people, older people that are in the club that you don't really know much about. Right? Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, room number 6.
A lot of it's been covered already, inviting people to socials and getting to know people in a less, formal way, and also inviting them to projects like distributing dictionaries. But a couple of our clubs are smaller clubs that are struggling on, keeping everybody engaged, especially during COVID time. So they're kind of chugging along and keeping things moving.
Yep, chugging along. Hey, and Lawrence has a really good idea of if you can join up together, you can have joint meetings from people from a club outside of your state, outside of your district. If you have a really good speaker, why not? Let's work together and share. Okay, so a lot of great ideas, and let's think about when you meet with your club, your board, think about how you can take it up to the next level, how you can make that enhancement to the participants when they come to your club or when they come to your projects. How can you really engage with them and get them to help you? Because if they're there at a project, they're like-minded people. They probably want to do what you're doing. So let's think about the people that are on the sidelines, that are not participating in your club. So how do you think you can engage with them so that they can be more engaged? Some of them, they're fine. They're fine just being on the sidelines because that's what they get out of it, is just the opportunity to see what's going on, to be a part, or just to give money. That's fine. But what about the people who are just on the sidelines and on the fence on quitting? What can you do to engage them? Unmute. Let's talk it out. Talk it out. Lawrence?
Don't encourage the other clubs to recruit members from our club.
Hey, you know what, Lawrence? If you're not reaching out to them, they're fair game. So you better protect your own members.
I think the district should have a bylaw written for the whole district where members should be idle for at least 6 months.
Okay, next.
Yeah, maybe they got to sign a non-compete, right? Non-compete.
Non-compete clause. There you go, Benson.
There we go.
Thank you, Benson.
Okay, don't help Benson.
Sorry.
Oh.
Okay.
I like that, Benson.
Hey, Joy, you have
Yes, yeah, thank you. I think more importantly is that you continue that dialogue with your members, right? You try to get everyone engaged, whether you do it through your board contacting the members to make sure they're still engaged, or the other idea is to make sure that you use your members that have been here a while to mentor new members. Mentorship is huge, and it doesn't go away just because we're growing in our careers and in our life. Mentorship is a key component, I think, to bringing a club back alive.
Yep. And sometimes it's just that reaching out to someone and just to show that you cared about them, right?
Right. Just a one-on-one even.
Yep. Ellie, that's right. So what are some other things that you can do to get those people more engaged?
I would conduct a survey or have a club assembly and really ask some hard questions and foster talking and discussion and breakout sessions. Yeah.
Yep.
Find out what they really, really like and what's bothering them.
Yep. Yep. And I think Wade's going to talk about that later on.
Oh, Wade's a good one to do that then.
One of the things our club did was we meet 3 times a week. So the second and fourth Mondays are formal meetings. But on that third Monday, we call it our Pauhana night. That's our social night. And each member takes a month where they have that month to plan their social, whether it's they want to go bowling or we want to go out for tea, or for our family, it's games. We do games. So on the night that I have Pahana, we're setting games all up in our yard, and then everybody comes and plays games, and we just socialize and everyone gets to know each other. And then you get to build a relationship with the whole club as well as each individual member. So it helps you to guide them into something they're interested in, instead of just saying, okay, well, I need somebody on this committee. Can you do it? Well, they can do it, but it might not be what they want to do. And this way you get to know them a little better and can decide between them and you where they fit the best.
That's pretty cool to get them engaged, and then you get something different, and they have to go because they planned it. There's something they want to do. Right?
Exactly.
Okay. Other ideas? Yep. Good ideas, but something to think about when you work with your boards, when you have an assembly, doing a survey to see how they think, but really engaging your members is important. So let's recommit to putting the needs of our participants at the center of what we do, and think about what they expect and how we can grow that relationship and enhance their engagement with Rotary and with you, because a lot of times people are in Rotary because of the friendships, because the family, because they can depend on you. And so work with your board, see where you are and how you can get to the next level, come up with an action plan and make some changes. And we'll talk about adapting in a few minutes, but use the Rotary Health Check template if you want to do a survey. Wade has another survey that you might want to do, but you can find a lot of tools on the Rotary.org website, and the membership page has awesome things that you can think about and explore. So this background, imagine this is the theme for incoming Rotary President Jennifer Jones, Imagine Rotary. And so some of the key points that she brought up in her message, her presidential message, was that it's crucial, she said crucial, to retain members. Ask them what they want to get out of Rotary, and we need to deepen that relationship and create new partnerships. So embrace change. And Jennifer says, let's make sure we engage our members so they love your club and Rotary and the Rotary experience. So this brings us up to the next action plan priority, which is the ability to adapt. And Benson, should we take a short break now? Do we need a break, everybody?
Yeah, sure. We're just about entering hour number 3. So you guys are hanging in there, doing really great. So yeah, let's take about a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back. And when you hear the sound of Naomi's voice, that means the break's over. Okay, so let's go. Take a break. Let me pause the recording.
Haha. Okay. So we talked about the health check survey, and this is the health check survey, and it's on the Rotary Learning Reference membership page. So please look for all of these tools that are right at your disposal to use. Okay, but Jennifer Jones's key message, if you look at the news area on the website for Rotary, she has her message and she has a video of it, but she talked about engaging members, embracing new club models. And we're just talking about that with Travers on new club models, and really looking at how you can have innovative or cause-based clubs. So cause-based club is where they're focused on tutoring kids at schools or in education or environment. They have a cause that they all are focused on. So we want to make sure that our members are engaged and they're loving your club. Okay, so Jennifer Jones has that in her key message, and in her message, she talks about DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, and how we can be more accommodating or receptive accepting of other people's opinions and other categories that are included in DEI, which is diversity, equity, inclusion. So that brings us to the ability to adapt. And people of action are inventive and entrepreneurial, resilient, and they know that we stand for humanity, for doing good in the world. And we know why it matters, why it's important to us. We're all driven by the sense of optimism, and we want to believe that we can make a difference in our communities and in ourselves. So when you think about what you can do to adapt, Rotary knows that it's important to adapt. And when you think about the COVID pandemic and our polio eradication program, the polio program needed to pause. It couldn't go out and give the drops because of the pandemic. But guess what? Because we had that infrastructure for the polio eradication program, they could turn on a dime to fight COVID. And that's what Rotary did. Rotary was commended to do that. Their meetings they used to be in person and they went to Zoom. And so here Rotary is adapting, and all of your clubs have adapted in one way or the other. And we all did it in different ways. But let me talk about incoming President Jennifer Jones's initiative for 2022-23. She is encouraging us, and you can find this on the Rotary website. In the upcoming year, she wants us to do our part to ensure that Rotary is welcoming and inclusive. And this is what she's asking us to do. Learn about DEI in Rotary, understand what it means, celebrate our differences. So, Travis, when you're talking about different groups, or Roy, different groups and how you can reach out to them, this is exactly what we need to do, is to be inclusive and diversify. Determine why DEI matters to your club and the community. Does your club reflect your demographics of your community? And look for how to grow your club and be stronger with the DEI principles. And the principles are on the website too, and it's about thinking about inclusive and how you can be accepting of other people. So raise your awareness of DEI, take action in your club and your community, educate yourself about DEI, and be an advocate of DEI. And Jennifer Jones will also continue Shaker Meta's initiative on girls empowerment. Okay, so when you think about all of these things to adapt, let's look at how you can adapt in your club. So how can you be stronger? How can you adapt? How can you change? So let's talk about what you've done in the past 2 years. What has your club done to adapt to the situation with the pandemic? Want to shout out? Anybody share?
Yeah, hi Naomi, this is Roy Henderson again. Yeah, our club, I mentioned our club's fairly large, got about 130 members. So they adapting to the pandemic. So they quickly went over to the Zoom method of meeting. So they didn't just, the whole club didn't, drift away into the mist. And that was pretty effective. A lot of people did participate in the Zoom meeting to adapt that way. As they came back to in-person meetings, the Zoom option that was good and bad. I think some people were still afraid to come to Zoom, in-person Zoom meetings. We're here in California where the lockdown politics were extra extreme. And so we still offer Zoom, be able to tune in by Zoom, and some people are still doing that. And we're trying to encourage everybody to get back to the meeting room.
Thank you. Yeah, we're kind of forced to do that, right? Because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, what about some others ideas of how you have changed during the last 2 years?
Florence? Okay, so a similar concept with Roy. when after a year later, we try to bring back the social activity of meeting in person for lunch. There was some hesitation again with the membership to show up. So rather than trying to discourage the whole membership, we just invited them freely to attend. And as we continue to adapt to a Zoom and a social luncheon, then members started to come out. And then we incorporated the outdoor activity for community service. So we do a bike path cleanup along Pearl Harbor. So if you look along behind my scene here, you'll see the like a bike path walkway to Pearl Harbor. So at least they're now able to meet in person and walk in 6 feet distance or in pods, because if they walk in pods, they tend to enjoy the community service aspect. And then after that, we normally have a maybe a little social snack, but some just left and go on because they were afraid of catching the virus.
Thank you. Yeah, so thinking outside of the box on how you can still do what you want to do. So even for an Oktoberfest, doing it as a drive-by, one of our Hilo clubs, they mailed the box of beer and things to every participant. And then they had a Zoom for the entertainment. But you can have meals where people pick up meals and then come on Zoom and eat it together. There's so many ideas. And so when you think about coming out of the pandemic and how we can get together, people might still want to do drive-bys or Zoom meetings because it's so much more efficient, especially on the mainland when you've got to drive through snow or rain or other things. We're on other islands, so we have to do Zoom, right? So let's think about how we need to adapt, how we can change and still be relevant, how we can still reach out to members and be what we do good in the community so projects can still go on. And the pandemic actually gave us more opportunities to do projects because there was more need in our communities. Okay, so that brings us to expanding our reach. So that's the next priority, and Benson has that. Go ahead, Benson.
Oh, good. All right, so let's do it. Let's talk about expanding our reach. So I'm going to ask you to write 3 things down, or you can take your phone out if you want to put it on your phone, or if you have an exceptional memory, maybe you can remember 3 things. Okay. I laugh because I'm a senior citizen, and when I go to take my physical, they always say, okay, here's 3 things, and then a half an hour later, they ask you, well, what are the 3 things? And of course, I can never remember them. So, fail that part of the physical. Okay, so expanding our reach. Expanding the reach is about 2 things, right? It's about relationships and it's about activities. Relationships and activities, those 2 things, all right? So I'm going to ask you for 3 things, all right? Thing number 1 is I want you to write down the name of a person that you want to have in your club that's not in your club. Just write that name down, whoever that person is, and it doesn't really matter if we know them or not, but I want you to have that person in mind. And we're going to talk about why writing that person down is really important, because what we're seeing that some clubs are doing, they're doing this thing called target membership, where they write down a list of people that they want to have in the club. And then they approach them, the president might send them a letter, hey, we made a list of people that we thought will be really great in our club, and your name was on that list. We want to invite you to lunch or a service project or whatever it is. But people like to be recognized, and as Beck did in her presentation, recognize. Even if they're not in Rotary, they want to be recognized, okay? So write down the name of a person you want to be in your club. Okay, the second thing is strategic alliances, right? If you want to expand your reach, now you have to start talking about relationships and activities that you want to do with other groups that are out there doing either similar type things or somebody that you could co-produce with or work with to do something. Like for us, I mean, we have a lot of nonprofits out here, Boys and Girls Club, Hope Services, you know, who serves the homeless. All right, write down the name of a group or an organization that would be a good strategic alliance for your Rotary Club, that you would want to create a relationship and work together with them. Somebody that you're not currently working with. You know, United Way could be Salvation Army, could be some little known group that maybe we don't all know, but they're a local group. Okay, so that's thing number 2. Write down the name of a group. Okay, now thing number 3, I want you to think about your club and what is your club known for? So do they do Oktoberfest? They hand out dictionaries, they clean the side of the road, you know, they paint buildings. What's your club known for? And what are those kinds of activities that your club has traditionally done for which, you know, you have a reputation or in the public, all right? Then I want you to come up with some other thing that you could do that could be what your club could be known for now, right? So for example, if your club, like our club puts on a big fundraiser, right? It's kind of one of those food tasting things like Taste of San Francisco, or whatever, where people come and they you know, taste food, they pay you know, pay a fee to do that. We hand out dictionaries, we do cleaning or whatever. But maybe now we would like to be more environmentally conscious, and maybe we would like to be the club that cleans the beach up, you know, or sucks up the little pieces of plastic on the beach or recycles, right? What is a new activity that you would like to have your club be known for that you're not currently doing today? So I'm gonna give you about a minute to think about that, since I've been talking for about 3 or 4. And then I'm gonna go around and we're gonna see what everybody has to say about that, right? Because remember, expanding our reach is about creating new relationships and new actions or activities. Okay. So Travers, how about you? All right, so just tell us, all right, here's the person I want, here's a group I think we should connect with, and here's a new activity that I think our club could resonate with or want to be known for. Okay, what's your idea, Travers?
Well, the person I'd like to see join is the principal of the middle school.
Good.
Because I'd like more of an outreach to the educational community.
Cool.
Because I see them as a good target for increasing our membership. As far as other organizations, that's a tough one. We have a lot of them and we work already with several of them. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to rethink that.
Okay.
What is our club known for right now? We're known for the community farmers markets and for our clubhouse. We have our own clubhouse, our own building. What would we like to be known for? For having more than 7 members.
Okay.
But again, we're going to have to work on that one.
Okay. All right, good. So, you know, the exercise about writing the name down of somebody you want in the club, because every single club that's out there, they're like, we need to get more members. And they just kind of throw it out there and we just sort of leave it out there and everybody's like, okay, well, what does that mean? When you start naming names, now you've got a target, a goal. So the more you can name names, the better it is. Ross, how about you? What's your thought? What's your 3 things you want to share with us today?
Well, I definitely need to get our membership back more diversified. I think we've got a couple community colleges down the street. I think it'd be great to get somebody from there, kind of rekindle some of our relationships with city council, fire department. We have in front of the beach, we have the patrol there. There's some groups that we've been targeting that serve the unhoused, especially youth. So we're trying to kind of build some relationships there. That's an area that there's just so much need that we can expand to, I think. And as far as what we're known for, there's nothing consistent that our club has done. I've started some things, and they've done well, but we just don't have the membership to help. So we focus more on things that we could do with less manpower. So like our grant center is basically what we're best known for in the district, because it doesn't require a lot of boots on the ground. We can do it here in an office and a computer, and that helps. But I would love to get another barbecue competition going or food event. We're really limited by space here. It's hard to find a venue for that sort of stuff. But I think we're going to start doing smaller events. I've been thinking about just doing little micro barbecue and chili cook-off in somebody's parking lot, instead of the giant events that I've done in the past.
Okay, good, man. That's great. Now you're starting to think outside the box, which is super good.
It's easier to say than do.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I have the ideas.
Yeah, well, it's like our club, our manpower issues have changed over the years now, because our membership is older now. I mean, we used to put on this huge event where it required a lot of physical moving around stuff, and our gang isn't quite up to that as much. So Linda Mira, what's your 3 things you want to share with us today? Got to get that unmute button. There you go. Got it.
Yes. Well, I have a long friend, an old friend that does all the things that you would do for Rotary anyway. She does it on her own. She helps the older folks and she takes care of them. She does all this, but she doesn't want to join Rotary. And I really wish she would. So that's one thing. The group I love to partner with is Girl Scouts. We used to meet at the Girl Scout Center, but we've moved from there since. So I think that would be a great one. The service project that we like to be known for is the sibling picnic that we do for foster children once a year in October. That's beginning to make a name for us. This last year, after our October sibling picnic for the foster children, the local it's a magazine called The Desert Leaf. They wrote an article on our project, and I thought that was really nice. It would get it out to the public. And as far as a new activity, I just realized I was going to be president not long ago, and I have no idea.
Okay. Keep thinking on that. You'll come up with something. So, a lot of times, a club gets into kind of a groove, doing certain things year after year after year, and sometimes especially if you get new members into the group, they'll say, "Hey, why don't we do this for a change, or why don't we do this?" And then you'll get over and start a completely new activity, and that new activity will attract a whole new group of people because they're interested in that activity. Like over here, Hawaii is probably one of the most environmentally conscious states in the United States. So if you do anything like, beach cleanup, planting trees, right? So our whole district just decided, like last year, we're going to plant, what was it, namely like 1,000 trees. And so everybody kind of got, so then all of a sudden, all the tree huggers, planters, everybody that loved trees, all were like, "Hey man, we should get in Rotary because we could plant trees." So, so Joy, tell us what's happening in your world. What 3 things are important to you?
Well, thank you, thank you. Well, my initial name for some reason or another was Pierce Bronson. And I just think that he would bring in so many more members for us.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
And
That's
then I
always-
went to Teresa Tico, another huge activist on our island. And I thought, wow, if I could get someone like that on the North Shore here with us, who lives on the North Shore but part-time on Honolulu, I thought, wow, that would also, bring a lot of people in. And then I thought, well, I'd really like to really partner with a new nonprofit, really big on the North Shore. It's called Common Grounds, and they're focusing on building entrepreneurs. And my passion around having sustainable food and water for our small little island out here would be the thing that I'd push for.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds like you got a plan over there. So Rick Gomez, what's happening? What's your person, and what kind of things would you like to do, and what group would you like to connect with?
Well, we're trying to do in Rancho is get away from sponsorships and calling them partners, so that we have Rotary partners that will contribute to our ongoing projects. We're devoted to helping children in the community with shoes, backpacks, shopping sprees. And so what we're trying to do is work with our local minor league professional baseball team called the Cucamonga Quakes.
Right.
And what we're trying to do is to get them a partner so that they will partner with us and become one of our stronger alliances with them, so that we can use their networking and our networking to sponsor the different types of projects that we want to do with the team. And we were looking at team members, coaches, front office staff to do mentoring. We have been doing mentoring with the local baseball team, college. We have a college, Chaffey College, high school coaches, and mentor boys at risk that are in high school and bring them to games, sponsor them with activities. So we've been known mostly for our activities in children, but we find that there are so many other opportunities beyond just what we're doing with kids, and not just the ones in elementary school, but to work with the high schools. And also Chaffey, our college, has a Panther Care, that's their brand, and to help kids that are having to decide to pay tuition or eat. And so we're working with them, partnering with them, so that we can find more opportunities to help all the individuals in Rancho for food sovereignty, for clothing, all the things that they need to sustain a life in Rancho Cucamonga. So that's what we've been doing.
Okay, Rick, that's great. Thanks a lot for sharing that with us. Sandy, how about you? What's your thought for couple A?
Well, one of the people that I chose that I would really like to see join our club and actually has an interest in our club is our pastor from my church. They're very committed to community service, and so he's looking for another direction outside of the church that he can give back to the community that he serves. As far as activities, what I'd like to do is get back in touch with, and her name just left my brain, from the Chamber of Commerce, and work with her as to like what are the most immediate needs in our community that they know of, and see if we can connect with one of the other charity organizations to help fit some of those needs that we know are pressing. And then what our club is known for, outside of being the drinking club, is the fundraising cruise that we usually hold every spring. Apparently it's not going to happen this year because they're just now lifting all of these restrictions they had. So it won't be this year. So I was hoping to involve my club in a prom dress and suit giveaway, so that some of the the young kids who cannot afford these prom dresses and these tuxes or suits that are so expensive just for a one-night event, we can supply them with those dresses and tuxes so that they only have to worry about getting their ticket and then they're good to go.
All right, great. Thank you, Sandy. Okay, so let's finish up. Shelley, what's your thought for Woodland Hills? You want to share with us?
Sure, be happy to. My first thought of who I'd want as a member would be maybe a local politician. And then my second thought was one of the LA Dodgers. So
Yeah.
I know a lot of the Dodgers have great nonprofits for children and all kinds of things. So I thought if I can get one of the Dodgers, that would be great. I think this year, especially, our Rotary has mostly been involved. We really have a very, very varied projects that we do. But homelessness in our community has really been something that we have spearheaded this past year. And I want to definitely continue that next year. But I got the idea of today from people who had mentioned this, that I really would like to add an environmental committee to our board and start being more involved in environmental issues.
Okay. Wow, that's great. Yeah, all for the Dodgers. Yeah, go for it. That's yeah, that's a great one. Or, you know, somebody, if you're in LA, get one of the Rams. I mean, they can come and flash their Super Bowl ring. So that's super. Okay, so I'm going to shift gears just for a few minutes, and then we're going to turn it over to Wade, and Wade's going to kind of take us home with his presentation on how to take your club to the next level. One of the electives that I kind of work with at Pets was fundraising. And so because I worked on that, Naomi decided to give me 5 minutes to talk about fundraising. So I'm just going to give you 3 points that came out of our 2 sessions, and both of them were just packed to the gills, actually all the way out to the hallway. So here are the 3 points that came up, and you can either jot these down. I don't have a slide for them. So first point was cause versus personal requests. So I'll explain that. So how many of you guys, just by show of hands, have given money to somebody over the last year simply because they asked you to and you knew them? Say, hey, can you buy this? Can I need a donation from you, right? So pretty much everybody, right? So one of the points that came out of it was that personal request is a stronger motivation than whatever the cause is. Like it could be like, hey, we're trying to raise money for the bombing in Ukraine or whatever, and people might donate something to that. But if somebody calls me up and says, hey, Benson, you know, we need new uniforms for the Pop Warner football team. I need $100. There's a 100% chance I'm going to give that $100 if somebody calls me and asks me straight out for it. Okay, so that's point number 1, is a personal request is stronger than whatever the cause is. Now, if you got both of them going, personal requests and believe in the cause, then you might give more money. Okay, so that's point number 1. Point number 2 is that there's technology now, and you guys have seen it probably like on Facebook or GoFundMe or whatever, where you can raise money just utilizing technology. Now, there was a guy, and I'll send you the link, who came in our fundraising workshop, who had a fundraising app. All right, and basically he said, you know, you can utilize this app, put all the information on it, or you could just send it out to people and say, hey, we're trying to raise money for this, whatever the cause is, and donate now. And you hit the button and, you know, put your stuff in, and you can just donate it. So clubs that used to, you know, sell tickets, like our club used to like physically sell a physical ticket to somebody, and we were informed that, man, that is so old school. People don't do that anymore. They use an app. So, so point number 2 is use technology. Okay, and the last point, point number 3, is you have to take a look at, on one side, effort, energy, and resources, right? Versus how much profit or whatever the end result is, right? So they specifically talked about golf events, right? So a golf fundraiser and the big gala type thing, right? So one of our fundraising professionals said, so you go to a golf tournament and after, you pay for the greens fees and you pay for the lunch or whatever it's going to be, and then you pay for all the prizes, you have to put the golf tournament up there at like $250 a piece to make a reasonable amount of money. So his point was a golf tournament is super, super hard for the amount of money you make. Then he went to the the big evening gala. He said, all right, if you go to a nice hotel and just for the room and the dinner and everything, you're looking at like $90 a head, $100 a head. And then you got to add in all the other, prizes, awards, stuff that you're going to put out there. And you're in at 150, maybe $175 a head before you even tack on whatever it is you're going to make. So you really sort of got to rethink, do you have the resources and the energy to put into something like that if the margin of it is going to be small, or your ticket price is going to be so elevated that it'll be hard to sell enough tickets to really make it. So they were just talking about new types of fundraising activities that didn't require as much physical energy and not as much upfront costs. Like I'm sure a lot of you here have done silent, auctions online, all kinds of stuff that could be done that could conserve energy, effort, and resources. So that's my 3 things. That's fundraising 101 in 3 minutes. And so now that I've kind of like ended all of that, I'm going to turn it over to my good buddy, Wade Nomura, and Wade is going to take us home. Wade, it's all on you. Take care. Go.
Great. Thanks a lot for having me. I really appreciate it. You guys do a great job of keeping it on time. So again, good job on that one. Actually, Benson, I do not have a PowerPoint, just to let you know.
Yeah.
But thank you for that one. Yeah. I appreciate that one very much. Most of you know who I am. Some of you that don't, hope to meet you in the future. It'd be great. My topic is taking your club to the next level. And what I want you to do is actually think about this as something that you have not yet done for your club. In other words, be creative, think openly, come up with ideas. And I'm going to give you some suggestions based on some of the ideas that I think may help you in the future. First of all, I handed out, or will be handing out, 2 surveys. These are 2 handouts. You'll be getting those. I want you to take a look at those and actually fill those out. These come from Rotary International, and they are great for giving you a little idea of what maybe you could improve on, what you're doing great, and it'll give you a good understanding of actually where your club sits as far as being out there in the public eye. The first point that they have there is first impressions. This is your club's first impressions. Now, most of you will think first impressions, how important is this? I have been to over 500 clubs, visited over 500 clubs. And I will tell you this, a successful club is a club that when I walk into, I see a lot of excitement and everybody's having a good time. If it's a business club and people are sitting down talking about their next projects, how they're going to fundraise, all of the money, I guarantee you that club is probably going to go nowhere. So make sure that when you take a look at your club, you make sure that it looks like it's having fun, that everybody's excited and having a great time. And if not, figure out how you could spice that up and make that change. Interesting also, first impressions. The first impression is not when a new member walks into that club. First impressions comes from them doing research. In other words, your website. Have you looked at your website to see if, in fact, that is something that will have people come in, if it's inviting? Believe it or not, 80% of the people that actually are interested in your club will never walk through those doors because they'll look at your media, they'll look at your website, and they'll see where you're involved with. So make sure that your website shows exactly what you want to have focused on. Not, unfortunately, a message from the president, but we want to see people having a good time, having fun. We talk about media also. It's an important component of your club. because media would include all of the great projects you're doing, everything and anything that you're doing that's benefiting your community. And also it brings in your network of friends. So that is your first impression. Remember that: website, media, and friends. That is what you want to focus on if you want to get your club out there. Member and benefits. This is probably one of those areas where it's often overlooked. And when I say that, member benefits, people join. If you ask them why they joined, have you asked them why they stay? How many of you have done an actual survey on an annual basis saying, what could we do better? What have you enjoyed? What do you want to get involved with that we have not yet done? Remember this, for clubs and for Rotary, it's not what they can do for the club, but remember this, it's what the club could do for them. Be member focused. Wear the shoe on the other foot. Figure out what you could do to benefit the members of your club and make it worthwhile for them. I'm now going to talk about club evaluations, and this is the limitations. And again, I want you to think completely outside of the box. As an example, what time does your club meet? Is it a breakfast club? Is it a noon club? Is it an evening club? Well, based on that, what does that do? That kind of cuts out 1/3 of the potential members you have. If you're a breakfast club, that cuts out your working class people, that cuts out your young family members, it cuts out quite a few things. If it's a noon club, it has to be geographic, or it could be done via Zoom. But there again, you miss some of the people that are morning people that have nothing to do, but they're looking for things to do in the morning. If you're an evening club, it's all of the above. So what do you do? How could you change that? Because you're very specific right now on being a time-focused club. Look at doing socials. Look at changing it up. Maybe do a once a month meeting where it's just social involved only, or it's business involved only. There's a club, the Rotary Club of Sydney. They meet as a club once a month, but they meet every week. As a club, they meet once a month, but on the alternate weeks, they will have committee meetings where everybody's invited to sit in on committee business plans, putting together new projects, all of the above, but they meet at the same time. One of the benefits that they have there is that the members could get involved with different projects, and they're only obligated to maybe twice a month coming to meetings, even though they have a meeting once a month with everybody there. Cost is another thing we want to look at. Have you looked at the cost of your club? Is it something that is too hard to bring in, say, new members or somebody that's starting a business? Is that going to be a deterrent, something that's going to discourage them? How could you improve that? How could you change the cost? If you look at the number one cost of most clubs, traditional clubs, it's in the way of food and meetings. So how would you adjust that? Maybe figure out different places you can meet, have a business plan for food, whatever you could do. But think again, what you could do to entice other people to come in and make it not a deterrent, but something that will benefit them coming in. Dates of your meeting. We have different times of the week. We have everything from Monday to Sunday, everything in between. Is the date that you selected a date because it was convenient for the venue that you had, or was it convenient for your members? Do a survey again and find out if, in fact, what ones of those is an important one of it. Commitment and expectations. I put this in there because a lot of times clubs will put in what they want to commit to. They decide, the leadership of the club and the club's personality decides what they want to accomplish, what the expectations are. But remember, if we are a Rotary club, we want to be somewhat cause-based. I will give you an example of a cause-based club or potential membership to a club. I recently reached out to a group of surgeons. There are 650 of these surgeons that go around the world doing surgeries. They said that they do this because they love doing what they do. I asked them if they were ever going to be involved or interested in doing Rotary. They said, yes, we would be. However, if we were to do everything via Rotary, we would dilute our efforts. We want to do surgeries. We are willing to put all of our money into do surgeries. We will do this completely for free. But if we joined Rotary, we would have to then put our energy and efforts also elsewhere. Example, polio plus, whatever we decide at that point in time, a club does. So why not create a wing of your club that is cause-based, that rather than them asking them to benefit or pay for a different project, they would be focused specifically on a project. They could be part of your club. They could be a new club that you charter in and mentor or advise. Geographic locations. We all look at geographical locations as traditional. We all know that we meet pretty much at the same place at the same time. However, a club that I just recently started about the last 3-4 years, is actually an international club, but it's part of our Rotary Club. We created an e-club that was failing. So what they wanted to do is, rather than fold up the club, they wanted to come back to our mother club. So we have a regular club and we also have an e-club. That e-club meets in 3 different areas. It meets with us in our club. They also have club meetings in Antigua, Guatemala, and in the middle of Mexico, all under the umbrella of our club. The benefits of that, whenever our district does a project in Guatemala or Mexico, we actually have membership currently there that could help us out with the host end of a global grant or projects. So our footprint became substantial. Again, think outside the box. I was told by Rotary International that I could not do this. However, based on approval and support from 4 different international presidents, it moved forward. So again, even though there may be restrictions there, take a look at how we could change that. Benefits. Do a club survey. Have you ever done a club survey of your members? And I did this when I was president and I was sitting in your shoes, in your seats. I took a look at one question. I sent out a survey for all of the members of my club. When I say all of them, every single one of them got it. Every single one of them came back with that survey. The question on that survey was only one question. What are you involved with outside of Rotary? And the answers came back. American Heart Association, Cancer Society, Boys and Girls Club of America, you name it, they had all different ones. We were diverse. I took that list, and again, 100% of the members brought that back. I put that up there on the board, and I said, we will do one project with every one of these groups that were listed. What did that do? That got our footprint into every single organization that our members did. Also, every one of our members now got to share what their other passion was besides Rotary. So we merged the two together. We had a membership of 31 members when we started that year. We ended up doing 64 projects within that community that year's time. So this is why you need to have their input. Don't tell them the projects you want to do. Ask them what they want to do. The other one, I'm thinking outside the box again. A month ago, I was invited to an Optimus International conference. And at this Optimus International conference, I was actually inducted in as an honorary member of Optimus International. Why am I sharing this? Well, I'll tell you what happened. They actually approached me and said, we are 56,000 members. We love doing what we do. We are international. However, we don't have the bandwidth, the knowledge, or experience to do an international project. Nothing of the scale of Rotary. So would you be willing to help us out and get us involved to where we could participate with you doing international projects for Rotary, through Rotary? So now we have a partnership agreement with them. Again, had I not thought outside the box, had they not, this would have never happened. Also take a look at your community partners and that network, who you have out there, who you could work with, because that's another one that's important to you. Many of you talked about it, but it's the community partners that would be able to then help you promote Rotary. If you do it well, you will be the go-to club because you will organize all of the other community partners in your community. And you will be the one to say, you know what, we want to do this. You would get everybody on board with that. People of influence. Here's another one. The movers and shakers of your community. Do you have them all? Have you included every single person of influence in your community? If you haven't, you may want to reach out to them. Take a look at your community leaders and see who you are. As you saw my resume, I'm the mayor of the city of Carpinteria. So when we do a lot of things, the city manager is also in the Rotary clubs. We have just about every major business covered with Rotary members. What happens there is that it's because of the influence in what we do within that community that we became, quote, the go-to club. And I think that's an important part of it. Reach out. I am a mayor of my city only because they recruited me because I was a Rotarian first. They said, because you're Rotarian, all of your hard work, we definitely need you on city council. So that's how I ended up getting politics, even though I had no aspirations of ever going into politics. Your speakers, we talked a lot about the really good speakers that you want to bring in, that you could potentially bring in. How about bringing them in as a speaker, but then hooking them and actually making them part of your Rotary circle? They may not join, but if they are also of influence and they know you work together and you stay in contact with them regularly, you got somebody else that you go to work with, and they would probably be proud. You'll be surprised how many of those people you consider, quote, celebrities are trying to give back to the community right now. Last point I want to bring up, this is projects and events. Many of you have outstanding projects. You probably do these things and have done these things for years and years at a time. However, have you thought about where they came from? Have you thought about what started it and why you continue doing it? I ask that because oftentimes projects are done based on tradition. What we don't look at is a community assessment, a community needs assessment. If you put a community needs assessment tool in place, you will know exactly where you can invest your time and energy in and get the best bang for your buck. That community assessment would tell you exactly where that impact would come from, how many of those people you could help out, and it'll pick up the worst part of your community. The hardest part to reach is the one that's going to show up first as your major need. If you change that, you've completely changed that community. You're able then to bring up your community to the next level. But if you keep bouncing around and don't do that assessment, you may be duplicating the work, time, effort, and money with what's going on currently with other groups and organizations that may be above or superficial, rather than digging down deep into the trenches and finding out what the root of your challenges are in your community and then bring it up that way. I made this pretty quick. I wanted to leave a little bit of time. Hopefully you took some notes on this one, but again, I'd be happy to answer any questions. I'm going to hand it back to Benson to see if there's anything that anybody has or wants to ask or has comments on. Thank you.
Man, that was amazing. Thanks, Steve. Wow, that was like everything about Rotary condensed in like 10 minutes. So,
Thank you.
So hey, we've got a few more minutes, group. So, hey, ask some questions, boy. You've got a great resource right here that could answer that. Go ahead if anybody wants to unmute and ask some questions. Let's get them in now. We got about 10 more minutes. Anyone? Okay. Yeah, we should, you know what? Wait, we should put you like right at the beginning. Everybody had that cup of coffee, and that's so.
Well,
So I mean, so obviously, I mean, you've accumulated all of this information just over years of, you know, observing, seeing things. What would you recommend for? I mean, there's a lot of clubs that are small. Like we have a chunk of our clubs that are 15 members or smaller. So is there anything that you could recommend for smaller clubs that are always sort of challenged in terms of getting enough people power to do stuff?
I would say if it were me and I had a club that size, the first thing I would take a look at is a community. Seeing community base where the needs are, as I said at my last point. Once you know what that community needs are, then you could start recruiting people based on what you want to accomplish in that community. Makes it a lot better, makes it a lot easier. If, unfortunately, a lot of the clubs I've seen, and by the way, 17 is the international number for average club size, believe it or not. Most clubs are 17 and under internationally. But what they do is they reach out. They don't have always the resources, but they do have the connections. And it's important to realize that you may stay a club of 15 or 17, but if you have the connections, you have the network. If you have the network, you will get the job done. Realize too that where in your community you fit. In other words, is the demographic age-wise different than the demographics of your club? Is it a younger club? Is it an aging community? Whatever it is. If you fit, that's great. But if you don't fit, you may want to look at recruiting in to come up to a standard demographic. DEI is another way we do that. But evaluate your club. Do it honestly, and I would recommend actually bringing in district leaders to assist you, because you may be biased on your opinion of what you see. So bringing in an outsider oftentimes is way more beneficial than you trying to do it yourself. I worked with 6 different clubs, and actually 4 different clubs this year with a strategic plan to help them improve and increase their membership. I would say 2/3 of them, well, the majority of them will improve. unfortunately, there are going to be those clubs that I couldn't help because they're so set in their ways, they won't change. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is.
Okay. Any other questions? Like I got about 10 more questions, but because I
got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, wait, I think you gave me some ideas. So it sounds like your home club has a weekly meeting, but to spice it up, you think out of the box and make all those external organization maybe once a month meeting. Is that how it's running right now to give that energy to the club?
Lawrence, that's a great idea. That is the case, actually. We meet Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. We do that weekly on a weekly basis. Whoever can make it makes it. We also have a satellite club. Those people that can't make it at that time, they're invited to socials we do twice a month. It could be a happy hour, whatever we decide. We also have one of the clubs meeting Friday mornings in Antigua, Guatemala, and Thursday evenings in Mexico. The reason that they became part of ours and not part of their districts, it was politics, unfortunately. And when I say that, the club that was the charter club of Antigua, Guatemala said we will never allow a second club. And these members couldn't join because it was the time just wouldn't fit in their schedule. In Mexico, we ended up picking up, and I hope we didn't record all of this, so don't send it to Mexico, please. So some of the ones that were a little bit more politically edgy. In other words, we had past district governors in there that just didn't fit in, but they wanted to continue in. So they created their own club that way. And the benefit is we could do projects with them internationally now through members of our club. So we've got a lot of potential projects going in through our district and other districts where we have that connection to get those initiated.
All right.
Yeah, great. Now I have a project for Naomi and Benson to provide us a list so that we can create some satellite club with our PEs that we can invite so we can spice up our.
There you go.
Thank you for that idea.
Yeah,
my pleasure.
Yeah, Wade, that's amazing. We'll have to have you back again. I mean, some of your ideas were terrific. So, I want to make a last comment. I'm going to toss it to Naomi. She's got a comment, and then we're going to have Randy close us down here since we're just about at noon. So, one of the things that you'll notice about Wade that makes him really effective is Wade is an excellent asker. And all of the things that he talks about is like, hey, you got to reach out, which means you have to ask, right? And so as a leader, one of your primary responsibilities is you have to be the asker. You have to be the person that asks for this, asks for donations, asks to work together on projects, and that's asking. And that is a really great skill to have. So. With that, Naomi, I'm going to pass it over to you, and you can make some final remarks, and then we'll take it to Randy to close us down.
We really want to thank Wade for his insight. And when you saw his bio that I flashed up on the screen, it was pretty long, but Wade is besides having all of these recognitions from Rotary on the Citation for Meritorious Service and Distinguished Service Award and Service Above Self Award, he's the mayor of the county, and that is just so awesome with the connections he's made with the international service projects that he's done, over 30. He's on the cadre for international projects, so he reviews them. So Wade, if you don't mind, if you want to share your email address and phone number in the chat, if people have questions, can they call you?
Calling might be a little tricky. I'm usually in meetings, unfortunately. But anybody, you're all welcome to email me. It's easy. It's wade@wadenamura.com. Just my name. Yeah. wade@wadenamura.com.
Okay, so Wade, hey, plug the book. Now, Wade is wrote an excellent book. So give us a couple of seconds on what the book is.
The book is called Creating Destiny, and it talks a little bit about my life, but most of it focuses on how to get involved with service projects. Because of the way my life has ended up from where it started, which was pretty much not where I thought I would end up now to where it is. I talk about all of this and experiences I have. When I say creating destiny, it's something that went from exactly the opposite, where I was going in the wrong direction, where now I'm doing so many things I really enjoy. It's been a rewarding life thanks to where I ended up. And that's where the name came from, Creating Destiny. So if you're interested in that one, again, just email me. I'd be happy to share with you the information on that. And by the way, I'm happy to do meetings also.
Yeah.
I do meetings, believe it or not, Rotary meetings I do between 9 and 14 a week. So if I have time and we could schedule something out, I'd be happy to talk to you on that too.
Great.
So, Wade is really creative. He created a BMX bike. It's called a Nomura bike. So, thinking about Rotary and your club, that's what we need to do. Think outside of the box. And you have an idea, go for it and see if it's going to work. And you might come up with a bike that's very popular. Linda Mira, you had a question?
Yes, Wade, I'm the speaker seeker for my club. Would you be interested in making a presentation to get everybody excited?
I'd be happy to, you bet.
Thank you.
Just shoot me an email. We'll try and organize it.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Wade, thank you very much for your presentation, because it really kind of wrapped up all of the priorities and what we've been talking about of making impactful projects, reaching out to partners, engaging with your members, and really adapting to the situation. So thank you for wrapping all of that up. And so we're at noon in Hawaii, and it's time to go out and maybe have lunch over here. But let's hand it over to Randy. Randy, you want to close this up?
Sure, it'd be my pleasure to close it up. I just like to echo all the appreciation to Wade and his inspiration. I mean, some very, very inspirational ideas that Wade was able to provide. And also a big shout out to Beth for everything that she provided us also. She provided some real nuggets for us that, hopefully folks jotted down, and some of the things that are very, very important for PEs is choosing that team that Beth talked about. If you haven't chose, I think most of your teams are probably already set. But very important to have a team that you can work with. Which goes right along with, if you do have team members that you've inherited, and they're the weeds that Jennifer Jones talked about, just remember, don't water those weeds. And with that, special thanks to Benson and Naomi for putting it on, and hope you all enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Thanks for joining with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.